Welcome to the San Clemente Podcast, the only local podcast in the best beach town in the world. We're here to bring you weekly episodes highlighting everything from sports, culture, entertainment, politics, and everything else this beach town has to offer. Welcome back to the San Clemente Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Moore. My co-host, Brian De La Puente, and I are back at it with another excellent episode. We have a San Clemente legend in the house. A alumni from San Clemente High School, the athletic director from 1995 to 2025, I believe, a coach, a mentor to generations of kids that have been raised through the systems and through our community here in San Clemente. We're very grateful to have Jon Hamro on the podcast. Welcome, Jon.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
It's a great opportunity.
And don't forget, newest inductee to the Sports Wall of Fame.
Oh,
so congratulations.
Thank you.
We're fired up to get you up there and get a tile up, and it'll be a fun deal.
Do we have a copy of have you seen the tile?
I haven't showed you yet, but we got Don Kindred mock tiles from from the San Clemente Journal. If you want to throw that up there real quick.
Oh, there it is.
Wow. Turned out really good, huh?
Wow. Yeah. Oh, I guess I'm old.
We went back and forth and it turned out really good. Like to filter through all of your accomplishments, and this is what we came up with. And so you're going up with Lisa Bush and Brandon Telefaro.
Yeah, know them both.
Yeah.
And super honored.
Number 25 ranked athletic program in all of California.
Yeah. On the way out, 24, 25, that's what we were ranked out of about a little over 1,700 schools.
That's awesome. That's
so super proud of that as an overall athletic program.
Yeah.
Only public school in Orange County to make the top 25.
That's awesome. That's 1,700 schools. That's doing something right. So congratulations. And
certainly wasn't me. There's a lot of great coaches and great athletes and support. So,
well,
thank you.
Let's start from. So we talked. Jeff, you said San Clemente alum. We were kind of talking about catching movies down at the Miramar Theater, and bring us back to time at San Clemente. What was San Clemente like growing up?
Oh, it was an idyllic childhood for sure. Being here, my parents bought in the first phase in Short Cliffs. 1962, I think they bought their home for $23,000 and raised 5 children there. We all went through San Clemente High School. But I, grew up, we were roaming the streets, no cares, playing Little League baseball and what we called Saturday League basketball at the high school.
Oh, no way.
And then we had junior All-American football where we practiced at the Boys and Girls Club, and we actually played our championship games at the high school.
That's cool.
That was always oh my gosh, we get to play at the stadium. And grew up playing sports, being involved in sports. My network of friends was all sports driven, and I can remember we would rotate at Short Cliffs golf course at the time, hole number 7. We lived right above it. Everybody would meet behind the tee box, but there's 2 homes there now. The Barbers, which was still there. Everybody got their hair cut there, and that's where we spilled out to play football. And Mel Pasquale, we go way back. You would know that name, but a bunch of friends that are still there. Doug Lemon from Surf and Donuts and the Grill. Very close friend of mine. He's in the mix, basketball, baseball, football, all the way through. And a lot of just great memories. I just was playing golf at Muni the other day with the former commissioner of CIF, Rob Wygott, and Reiner Wolf, an assistant commissioner, and they had never played it. See that field right there? That's where I grew up playing Little League.
That's one of the best, and that got to be the best in the country.
Yeah, and
Ocean views.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And to give you a timestamp, there's a picture of me my parents have that I'm playing minor league. So I don't know what, I'm probably 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
I'm in a pair of jeans, Vans tennis shoes. That we had a Vans outlet or Vans store in San Clemente at the time. I had a pair of Vans on, an orange t-shirt and an orange hat. The ficuses, which are massive there now, is a little teeny ficus with a stick and it's tied off.
I got it.
That's how long ago I played
That's
there.
wild.
So that's, 55 years.
Which, by the way, so probably Vista Bahia, the Little League field, and the Muni is probably one of the nicest municipal golf courses.
Oh, it's the best.
It's
Pacific, man.
Oh,
Every hole has ocean views.
Oh yeah. It's awesome.
They do a great job over there.
Yep.
what was it like growing up with? So you had four siblings, 5 total.
Yeah. Yeah. So, definitely a lot of chaos and
Everyone played sports.
No.
No.
I had 3 sisters. I had an oldest sister who was a model.
Okay.
And ran a successful business. Then my brother, who was a tennis player, but he played all sports, but he was a great tennis player at the high school. He was like an all-CIF, 3-year MVP. They, back in the day at the high school then, they inducted him into the Hall of Fame because he was that good.
Yeah.
Then my sister, Kathy, not an athlete. She's athletic, but she didn't participate. And a lot of that was back in the GA, right? They didn't even have it.
Right.
And then myself, and then my younger sister, Ann, who was the mascot for the high school. She's a couple years younger. So
right on. So you had mascot in the family and mascot in your English major at Fullerton.
Oh,
Mascots.
Yeah.
Mascots are important to coach.
Yeah.
So you were number 4 in
I
the
was
folder
number
there.
4. Yeah.
That's awesome. So growing up, playing all the sports, what sports were we in high school?
I played football, basketball, and baseball as a freshman, football and basketball the rest of the way through.
Okay.
I remember we were playing up at El Toro in freshman baseball. I was a starting pitcher and shortstop, and I got freezing. There's nobody there, and I got beamed in the leg, and they had the laces of the ball were on my bruise.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a good. That's how you know.
Like,
That's good.
You go back out for football, and you're all the fans and everything else, and then you're like, maybe not baseball. I actually loved the game, but yeah. So,
well, there's something about football, Friday Night Lights, walking it. I mean, it's priceless.
Yeah.
Well, San Clemente does such a good job, and we can get to it, but like, how much of that environment were you responsible for, kind of creating, or was that just like an innate thing for being in San Clemente?
No, I think honestly, success has a lot to do with that.
Sure.
So the program was struggling. I think enrollment was down in the 80s. So after I graduated, they went through probably a 7-year span of struggling. And when we came in 92, they had not won a league game in 5 or 6 years.
Right.
And so we kind of, Mark McElroy, who was the head coach then, who went on to great success. I know he's in the Hall of Fame for the city as well. And the Wall of Fame.
Yeah.
But great coach, great man. We got it turned around and started that going. And he was big on community involvement. And he started the first youth summer camp in the area.
We grew up going to.
Yep.
So smart to get that going in the community. Like if you think about Mark McElroy and the brain behind that and talking about strategy, right? Like he was probably a very high level,
I can remember
big
as
picture.
a kid going to those camps, having the Trevor Insleys and Jake Jeromes and Brad Bakers coaching that camp, and then come fall, going to the games and seeing them walk from the locker room out to the field, being like, "Oh, hey Jake, what's up?" Or
that was Trevor, the blueprint for what it is today.
I can remember the first time hanging out with Jake being like, "Dude, you were like the top. You and Trevor and Brad were like the top."
Yeah.
And to know that was kind of,
and they were really good players.
They were super good. And to know that was kind of the goal of that program, it worked. So
walk us through this. So you guys come in 1992 and this is Coach McElroy. This is you. Did you guys know each other prior to coming in 92?
We did. So I actually was not in education at all. after playing in college, I needed a job. I got a job up in LA through my oldest sister. I was actually,
were you a model?
no, but not far off that. I was working for a jewelry company as an operations manager. I needed a job.
Yeah.
And so I spent 5 years up in Hollywood.
Okay.
And company wasn't doing well. And ultimately, I was out of a job, and I was interviewing. I got an offer at ADP Payroll as a district manager. And Mark McElroy gave me a call and said, I just got the head job. We've known each other, obviously, and still, played pickup basketball
Sure.
and things, kept in contact. And he said, hey, I just got this job. I had my credential in my back pocket. And I said, at some point I wanted to do that, but I was married.
Yeah.
Life, condo, making, you got to make a living. So long story short, they were riffing teachers at the time. There were 3 teachers hired at San Clemente High School. Actually, in the district, there were 3 at the new teacher orientation. So there was nobody being hired. I got hired, took the job at half of my base at ADP. The ADP job I got on a Friday. I called the principal after a couple of interviews. They're like, we don't have a job, but I'll keep you in mind. I said, look, I'm going to take this job. He called me back Monday morning when I was going to confirm with ADP, and he said, we're going to hire you. I don't know how, but we're hiring you. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
So it was divine intervention.
For sure.
For sure.
You're meant to do it. That's awesome. So, yeah. So,
Wow.
92, that's McElroy. That staff was built, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the foundation being set. I know it was still, when we were playing the Beach Boys and the not winning league games, that kind of dialogue was still very present.
Oh, it was present, Brian, for a long time, even throughout our time there. We had some great teams. Playoffs became the expectation. I remember the 95 team that sticks out with Trevor and Jake and all of them. Brad was incredible.
Yeah.
He was a great offensive lineman, just a stud. And of course, Trevor, his history. But Chris Bowden, the OC at Villanova now at his alma mater, won a national championship there. We had Robert Richardson at center. That 95 team, we went beat Mater Dei.
Yep, that was big.
Won the league. That was the beginning of my poor reputation in coin tosses.
See, I heard the Ken's was telling me a different story, that you have a very good reputation in coin tosses.
No. So
well, shit.
If you tie, you don't play it off in football, right?
Yeah.
You got to do a coin toss. And if you tie for the league championship or whatever makeup that was. So we tied. It was us and Capo and Mater Dei.
Okay.
So I go to the coin toss, and this is with Austin Mockerman and Charlie Landergan and that group at Capo. They were really good.
Yeah.
So we upset Mater Dei, stopped their winning streak and all that, and go to the coin toss at Paul's Pantry off Crown Valley, and we flip the coin. Odd man gets second place. I'm like, okay, heads, tails, and another guy gets heads, and I was heads, and I was like, okay, we just lost that. Dang it. We're second. Then we did the head-to-head. He goes, you call it. I said tails, and it was heads. We were in third place.
Dang it.
Just like that. Like I walked out
not fair.
30 seconds later. We went from first
Tied
to third.
for first to third.
Yeah, we just beat Mater Dei the night before.
Oh, man.
And so I walk out, and that was the beginning of my demise there with that. But
that's a terrible job, though.
Yeah, we ended up playing Bishop Amat with Ralph Brown, and just great team there. They rolled through CIF and smoked everybody. Yeah. And we were ahead in the fourth quarter against them. We had a really, really good team, and we ended up losing late, like 28-23 or something. But sorry.
Kansas. So
love talking.
The 02, 03, 04 kind of CIF soccer run. Talking to my wife this morning, I think something similar happened, and I think you won
I might
coin
have.
tosses. So
You remember the losses more than
I know that
wins.
affects you, but she was like,
Yeah.
can you, first off, she wanted you to give her a shout out and say that those were the best teams.
Okay.
And she also wanted to know the coin toss stories because in her mind, you won those and got home games. And that was a big part of why they won. So,
okay. So, if we were a first place back then, if you were a first place team, you're at home.
okay.
So generally they were in first place. I mean, they were, Stacy had them.
Yeah.
Stacy Finnerty, she was incredible. And they had I don't know, I think she coached 16 total years, and 8 of the years they were in the final. And at one point they were in the final, I want to say like 5 straight years.
Yeah, they were really good.
5 straight years in soccer. I mean, you could outshoot somebody 18-2 and lose in a shootout or something. And they were incredible. And Mackenzie was awesome. She was a stud.
So what I want to know, in 1992, you walked through the doors. By 95, you've taken the program so far. When you go in 92, are you taking over freshman, sophomore, JV, and varsity? Are you taking over the whole program? And how do you build it in a 3-year period time?
Well, actually, the next year we flipped it. So 92, we ended up going 2-2-1 in league, tied. We beat Capo that year.
Yeah.
And actually, Dana was really good, surprisingly, back then. Don Douglas, who was my offensive line coach at San Clemente, he did a great job as a head coach there. He recently passed, great man. But we ended up just missing the playoffs in that first year, but we were right there. And then the next year, we finished in second and lost to Mater Dei 10-7. So it was there. And it was happening. And that was Gage Oken, Steve Sutherland, guys like that. And
it's so funny.
Alan Vaughn, who was that's a name that people would know.
Was he a running back?
People would see his name on the wall. But Alan Vaughn was an incredible athlete, running back. I mean, he was so good.
Yeah.
And I remember he ran for 180 something yards against Mater Dei that night. And the rest was history. But Mark did a great job of, hiring the entire staff. Yeah, you have to, not just the varsity, you got to hire the lower levels too. And it was much easier back then to hire them, because nowadays you got to jump through so many hoops. And I
just remember thinking too, McElroy, I swear he could have been a higher level. Like, wasn't he a pro? Like, I always looked at him as like he could go to the NFL.
His mentor was he was on Lavelle Edwards' staff, and he GA'd there, and then coached at BYU, and then ended up coming back to San Clemente. We were super blessed to have him, super fortunate, and it lined up for me too because of our relationship. So I was his first hire, and rest is history. And he had a great career at Saddleback. And I think a lot of that has to do with, as you have aspirations to move up, and especially when you're young, and you start weighing life and moving, and I want to raise my kids, and where do I want to be? And then you have another, person in the equation which is your wife. Right. And you make those decisions together. And Mark is a great family man. And I really, my family is first and foremost. So that was a decision we made. I met my wife here like you did, and like you did, Brian. We're super blessed for that. And, getting to work and live in San Clemente.
Special place that you're able to do that.
Yeah.
So you coach a couple years, and then how does this roll into the AD role?
So 95, the job opens up. Brian Sherbart, who had been the AD for a couple of years there, I knew. He was a basketball coach when I played in high school, and knew him real well. We were actually running together at the time. He said, "You should apply for the job." And I'm like, I don't know. I'm enjoying this part of my life and so on. I was teaching full-time English at the time, and said, "You should apply for it." And so I did, and went through a couple interviews, and myself, and my first 3 years, I was the boys and Rob O'Rear was the girls. So
Gotcha.
we shared it for 3 years. And then Principal Jim Walsh said, I'd like to combine it. And he conducted interviews. I had to interview again for the job for them and got the job in 98.
Shoot, I didn't know Rob
99.
was AD also.
Yeah.
Because my
3
mom
years.
coached with him forever.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that.
So
Yep.
for those that don't know,
Senior or rear?
Senior O'Rear.
what are the roles and responsibilities of the athletic director?
Well, it's pretty vast. We have program grew over time. We had a lot of sports that were brought in, especially on the girls' side,
Right.
that weren't even, competitive sports back then. And so it grew. At the end, it was, I think, 30 sports, 80 different teams, nearly 1,400 student athletes, over 130 coaches on staff.
And you're managing everybody.
Just me.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
To oversee that.
Well, when you think about
Fast.
it, you have 130 coaches. I mean, it's not the same as, like a principal having maybe 115, 20 teachers plus aides and so on. You have 3 or 4 APs below you that are
Right.
managing the discipline and departments and so on. So there isn't that kind of support. I have a part-time secretary that also worked in the Auto Academy.
You're right.
And so the rest is on me. But, you're in charge of all the logistics and organization of it, hiring coaches, schedules. The coaches will make their own schedules. I have, a hand in some of that. And on the football side, I try to get a little more involved, although Jaime does such a great job of that on his own now. But, the money part of it was important. I could talk about that another time. But I schedule every bus for every team going everywhere to every game. So that includes tournaments where you win that night and, you play the next day at a certain time, or you don't play and you have a bus as a contingency and you have 4 levels and all the sports.
Yeah.
You can start doing the math. Like in the spring, we have 33 different teams going different places.
So
that's just that,
logistics.
Officials,
Yep.
game management, announcers, workers, field setup,
Tickets and stuff.
I don't do that.
No.
Field scheduling, practice schedules, making sure that we're not overlapping. They do a good job of communicating with each other.
Right.
Because that's another thing. One of the benefits of keeping coaches on staff is that they start to work together and get to know each other. But there's budgets.
Yeah. It's really building a team. You have to be able to
all the certifications, making sure all the coaches are in compliance every year.
Yeah.
That we're doing things the right way. Because there's certain things you can and can't do. You're following CIF guidelines. I'm the liaison. I'm doing all the transfers, which is also quite a process and not a perfect science to that, because it's not easy.
What about the current climate? There seems to be a lot of transfer stuff happening with players.
Mm-hmm.
Did that fall in your lap too? Like having the compliance with that?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's
yeah.
The rules and the turbulence of that.
Well,
world.
there's a lot of transferring going on these days. Our goal was always to retain our kids, because there's a lot of great schools out in the area. We always felt like we're the best,
right.
and that's another thing that has to do with philosophy and my leadership style as well. But if we couldn't retain our kids, we weren't going to be successful. And if we attracted some along the way, great.
Sure.
But we wanted to retain our kids. So, I always felt like our difference was our sense of community. But that's just a term.
Sure.
One town, one team, which is great.
Yeah.
And it's something that identifies our program. But what does that really mean?
Right.
And I think what sets us apart is sorry for continuing on.
No, I love this. Is outstanding.
So what that sense of community is, most of our coaches live in San Clemente.
Right.
So probably nearly between 90 and 100 out of the 130 live in San Clemente.
Right.
We walk and go to the same markets and restaurants and all that stuff as everybody else. We see the kids at the beach on the, they're scattering at Lost Winds, but yes, I'm on the beach trail and they would shoot.
See ya.
There's coach.
Yeah. But, I think you have what I wanted to bring, and over time, was transformational coaching, that philosophy and leadership style to our staff. That was the expectation. I don't care who you are. This is what we want.
Right.
This is what I want. This is truly what I believe in. And it's how I wanted to coach. It's how I coached. I always thought of myself as a player's coach.
Right.
And so I wanted to be a coach's AD. And, you hear about transactional, transformational, relationship building. That's all buzzwords and everybody talks about it now. But this is something we've been living for a long time. And so I felt super strongly in it. It's something that I, spent a lot of time at the college teaching and imparting on students that were aspiring to be college or high school coaches and so on. So that relationship building is so important.
Right.
What that means is that you genuinely care about every kid, not just the starters.
Right.
You actually love them. Maybe not the capital L like your own kids,
right,
but you love them, and you are not afraid to say the word "I love you" to them. Because when a kid feels valued, they're important. Like in football and an offensive line, for example, year-round football, they, now it's 4 verticals and they do all this and they're getting hoopla and you don't see any offensive linemen in the pictures in the off season. And if you're a third string offensive lineman, you're not getting game time either.
Right.
I mean, my goal was always to try to get them in as much as I could because that's valuable.
Sure.
But when they feel that you actually care about them and that they have a role and it's meaningful, that they're in there competing, they're a lot of times giving the look of the other team and so on. When they feel valued and cared for, and you genuinely do it, not because I'm telling you to do it, not because it's something I learned in some book or a clinic.
Right.
It's because I actually love these kids.
Right.
I am going to try to mentor them. And this is a whole nother conversation some other time. But when they feel valued, they show up.
Yeah.
There's less discipline problems. They are going to show up and they're going to work hard. They're accountable to their teammates. And when they work hard, guess what? They improve.
Yep.
And when you individually improve, you put it all together, you collectively improve. And that's where your team can reach its best. And when you have that higher calling that I am trying to change kids, mentor kids, be a role model, which is number one in my book. In this town, everything could go sideways with one mistake. And then no matter what coach comes by and I hire, because there's, assistant coaches, hopefully Brian and Jeff, you guys will be on staff at some point in the future. But it doesn't matter who is sitting in front of me, whether they were 19 or 20 or 80, because I've had them. I tell them, it's great. These are my expectations. I tell them all the things and thank them for everything that they're going to do and wanting to do this. But I also tell them how they can be fired.
Yeah.
And you make a mistake in town. That's it.
That's it.
You're done.
Yeah, you got one reputation and the perception of this program.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, be smart. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but be smart, and
you're part of something bigger than yourself.
And exactly. And so what that does is, and what I've tried to drive home is, in this business, it's really, a lot of it's ego driven.
Sure.
And that's the transactional part of it.
Right.
It's, coaches come in and they say, what can this kid do for me? It's really what they're thinking. When it should be, what can I do to help him?
Right. Yeah.
So
can you see through that? Like in an interview process?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially when they're young. Because even when I was young, you think I'm going to be judged by just on the scoreboard. And you are.
Right.
Okay. I mean, we do keep score and we do want to be successful.
Right.
So that is important, or you're not going to keep your job. But if you are doing that and not the other part of mentoring kids and being a great role model, being that transformational coach, and just the scoreboard is about ego.
Yeah.
I want that ego checked at the door. I want to be other-centered. Really, what I want, when it boils down to, I want you to be a servant leader.
Yeah.
You are here to serve the kids. And, it's the same thing with parents. It's like, players play, coaches coach, parents parent, right? You hear that all the time. I said, well, my expectation is that, and there's staff members that say 50% of the people are going to like you, 50% that aren't, it's just the way it is. And I'm going to drive, and demand excellence and this and that. Really, 98% of the people should like you.
Right.
Maybe 2% don't. You can't change those.
Right.
But, you become more customer service oriented.
Sure.
And so it's just like your kids, you want your kids to be treated like this.
Right.
And when you do that, parents, they're part of the equation, and we need great supportive parents. That's part of the community. And so that's kind of the blueprint I've used to not only build the program, but sustain success, because I wasn't just about championships and this and that. I wanted us to be successful in the long run, because there's other great schools. Hey, they win a CIF championship in this sport. Oh, they're going to start attracting kids and this and that. They have peaks and valleys. And I wanted it to be continual improvement every year. Right. Now, wasn't perfect.
Sure.
But in the end, proud of what we accomplished.
Do you think that philosophy, Jeff and I our kids are not to high school yet. Are you able to have those same philosophies in the younger kids as well? I personally think yes. I think that those are foundational years. Doesn't matter the sport, doesn't matter but the lessons are being had.
I would argue that it's more important at the younger age. Mm-hmm. I mean, as it's super important at the high school, but at the younger age, one bad experience, and that young man or young lady,
they're never playing again.
They're never going to play again.
Right.
And the mental warfare that they're dealing with at that age.
Yeah.
The parents meddle more. They're they're more involved.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And it's by sport too, especially when you're young, as you guys know, you're at Little League. Everybody's
and little Johnny is dad's filming and telling him to bat elbow up and it's like, oh man.
But you can see at that level or at that age what an impact a good, strong coach can have on the young kid. Or vice versa. It's
100%. And what I would say to even back then, when my kids were going through Little League, all my kids, my boys, Miles and Owen, they ended up being volleyball players in high school. You sit out here and you see all these Little League players and all these kids, and they got their all-star jackets on, all that, and it's awesome. I love it. And it's our community. It's our Little League. It's very cool, right? We're not sharing it with another community or whatever. But in the end, and then you look at the varsity baseball team at the high school.
Right.
There's 6 seniors on it. There's 6 out of all these kids that are still playing as a senior.
Right. Yeah. As parents, what can we be doing like that? Is it affecting the kid when you get them in high school? What's happening in their youth sports experience? Do you see it like
what you do see is, there's a lot of travel ball and trainings, sport specific training at younger and younger ages. So they are coming in more aware.
Yeah.
So they may have already developed bad habits or not. Yeah. But they are
in a literal sense, but if they could have bad habits as a teammate as a player,
Sure,
as a whatever.
sure.
Like,
And sometimes they come in that they've been really successful. And when you're in the club world, which is the way it is, and they're getting great training, but it's also a money,
Sure.
a business as well. And
Mhm.
being, sometimes you get the kids that have been moved along and really, told
Yeah.
that they're great, and their expectation is they're going to start as a freshman, or parents have that idea. And when you get to the high school, none of that matters.
best kids are
We're
gonna
just going to play the best kids. And that's the beauty of the public school as well. We're a different model from the private school.
Right.
And it's, you end up with kids coming from Camp Pendleton and private schools, public schools, and move-ins, and you don't know, and suddenly you realize that, or maybe you got to play out of position because
Sure.
at the high school this is better, especially like in a sport of like volleyball or
Sure.
something.
When do you think it's appropriate to, when they're little? I think one of the most important things is equity. Everyone playing, having fun. What we talk about a lot is having them want to play again next season or next year.
That's the goal. And
when is it appropriate? I'm competitive.
Yep.
When is it appropriate that playing time and stuff shift from equity to we're trying to win? When, like, is it high school, or is it the level? Is it certain club levels? Is it rec doesn't happen? What is there an age? What do you think?
That's something where I became much more process oriented in how I approach things, that I used my preparation, obviously. And when I say that, when I was describing transformational coaching, I still, as you know, as competitive as anyone.
Right.
And demanding, we're working hard on the field and all that stuff. If you're doing those things and preparing those kids for success, and you are, especially in the younger ages, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're going to love them whether they win or lose. And so I guess, maybe when they're in middle school, things start to matter more.
Right.
And maybe that 7th, 8th grade, we're now prepping for the high school. But if you, and that was the thing that helped me last in the business, because when I would agonize over losses.
Yeah.
And I still did, even with being this, we've had some difficult losses over the years, and it was really tearing me up inside of what could I have done differently, and all these kinds of things, which every coach does. But, once I realized that, here we are, we're prepared, and we're going into a game, and you guys, back in the day, you're playing Hart in the playoffs or something back up in Santa Clarita, and which seemed like every year.
Yeah.
And they were great teams. And you're like, oh man, I hope we win. Oh, we can make the quarters, or, whatever. That isn't going to do me any good. I don't even want to think like that. I'm just trying to win the first play. Yeah. That's it. And then I'm going to recover. And that's something I learned from Sue Anquist.
Yeah.
Who, well, she's, by the way, Sue Anquist is a great story. She's my brother's age, class of 75 at San Clemente High School. She played baseball.
I'm telling you, dude, she was my neighbor. And
at San Clemente High School, she played baseball.
She's like the John Wooden of softball in college.
Yeah.
She's won as a player and a coach, I think 11 national championships.
Yes.
And competed, and was able to not only hang, but compete at a high level with the other athletes.
Yeah. I mean, I think she played through JV baseball. I'm not sure that she played varsity, but she played baseball.
Yeah.
And so
she would break down a lot of those gender barriers, and she's
big time.
Listening to her,
because they were going from GA to CIF right in that transition time.
Yeah.
They weren't even competing.
Right.
And so, but she said the difference between the great teams and the good teams is failure recovery. That was her big thing, because it's pitch to pitch, right?
Yeah.
But you can go play to play, or it's, volleyball, it's a game of momentum, right?
Yeah.
You
God, what a great metaphor for life too, though,
Totally.
right? The difference
Totally.
between the good and the great.
Failure.
But see, if you are, you don't have success on a play, or you think you got a bad call from the ref and you're jawing with the ref, or you're dwelling on it and you're upset.
And that momentum carries.
There's another play just happened.
Yep.
And it starts to, so you just compartmentalize it. You're just trying to win the first play.
Yeah.
That pitch, just that pitch.
Yep.
And you are so dialed in that you already are thinking and prepared, because you've prepared. You know what this pitcher likes to do in this situation on an 0-1 count or a 2-0, and you're dialed in and you are ready for the next pitch. That's how you build a championship team.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, literally my 10-year-old, that happened last week. He struck out, got in his head, struck out again. And now he's crying. He couldn't do it. So that's the lesson, right? Is, hey, short memory, flush it.
Yeah.
We're in potty talk. So it's like, hey, it's a big old turd, flush it, dude.
Yeah.
That at bat was a turd.
Yeah.
You swung at a high pitch.
Yeah.
Flush it. Don't let it affect. But he's learning, and it still does affect.
Yeah.
It's like in that moment, they can't, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but it's awesome to see it happen and see the growth and see the progression. And hey, Dad, can we go hit out the tee? That's what happened yesterday.
Cool.
Let's do it. Can we go throw some batting at the cages? Let's do it, dude.
Well, you're doing it right. When you got your son doing that.
So that as a dad, you're like, let it happen. I wasn't the one. Hey, let's go hit the tee. Let's go to the cages. I want to get your swing better. I want him to be the driver. And I love that. That's such a good piece of advice.
And as they get a little bit older, your kid has, an off game or, poor performance or whatever. They know what they've done wrong.
Right.
They know what they did wrong.
They don't need you to tell them.
They don't need you to tell them. They just want you to be there and love them. They want you there for sure.
Absolutely. A lot of these kids that are ultra hard on themselves, and I see it firsthand, they're so devastated when they do something wrong, almost not because they're mad at themselves, but they feel that they have let their dad down.
Yeah.
And you see it in them.
Oh, that pressure's too much.
And that pressure is just too much.
Yeah.
And then you get a kid coming back to the dugout and you can see it rub off on the other kids. And so to hear that from you is...
And as a parent, I went through it myself.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's really hard. Like, my older, I thought he should have been playing more. And here I am, parents would, complain. And by the way, yes, it is actually true. 99% of parent concerns are generally playing time. It's cloaked as other things. Yes. But it comes back to that, which I get. And, as a parent myself, I'm like, who am I going to complain to? Myself?
Yeah.
Playing at the high school.
Right.
And, but it helped me as a parent go, I'm here as a parent.
Right.
And I want the team to be successful. It's varsity boys volleyball at the high school. I got to put my dad hat on and love him. And because it can really destroy a kid.
Brandon Talifero said something wise yesterday. He said, there's a reason a lot of these young kids or athletes want to ride home with grandma and grandpa after the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't want it driven into them over and over. And again, I think it's just good for us, to just take these little nuggets and
I wasn't perfect as a parent.
Right? Nobody is. Nobody is.
Especially in that environment, because,
But we've got so much influence over this next generation. And it's part of the reason I think Brian and I love doing this podcast too, is getting to hear stories like this and being able to part wisdom and, push this out. And it really,
Think about how many kids across America participate in sports.
Yeah, it's huge.
Millions and millions and millions of kids.
And of those kids, how many are out there? And that's the best part of their day while they're out.
100%. And, and as coaches, that's what you think. We have the opportunity to mentor and change kids. Who has that kind of influence across the country? pastors,
Sure.
social workers. When you talk about servant leadership, when you take that mindset on, it is a big responsibility.
Right.
And you can change society.
Yeah. Trajectory of kids'
if you
lives.
can have coaches on that, having that understanding. It's not possible to have them all, but I learned a lot of this from Joe Ehrmann. And I don't know if you know that name.
I don't.
But he was a great defensive lineman for the Baltimore Colts.
Oh, you know what? Redefining Masculinity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The original book was
he spoke to us
Jeffrey
when I was in
Marks,
Chicago.
Okay, there you go. He's a great man. And I don't know if you know any of this stuff, but I don't want to bore everybody, so I'll go real quick. But he was an All-American.
Yeah.
At Syracuse. His younger brother, who was a stud and he felt was better than him, got cancer and died in a 5-month period and was gone. And it changed his life, and reevaluated everything that was important to him. Well, he ended up going while he was an NFL player, became an ordained minister, went to theological, became a theologian, theological school, and was a pastor of the largest, I believe, congregation in Baltimore, 4,000 member church.
Wow.
He started The Door, which is this outreach, social injustice, food, food issues with people and hunger and all that kind of stuff. But also he started coaching at the local school there, Gilman.
Okay.
And it was a private school there. And he really put this kind of transformational coaching to use to an extreme. But they were a top 10 national power at the time. And his goal and what they did as a staff, every player played in a game, every game.
Yeah.
And they were still a national power.
That's wild.
And when he learned, talked about masculinity and mentoring kids, and a lot of these kids had broken homes.
Yep.
And maybe fatherless.
Sure.
And he became that mentor and became a mission. And I think we could all follow that lead when it comes to having a positive influence on kids. And when you have a purpose beyond yourself, in your profession, living in this town, it's like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
How do we get so lucky? It's like, what did we do to deserve to live this life and have that influence? Yeah.
So Joe Ehrmann came and spoke to us in Chicago, and right when Rivers was, I think he was like 8 months old. So I'm, as a new dad, sitting in this meeting, and he's talking about redefining masculinity. And I'm like thinking about pillars on how I want to raise this kid and what is important to us. And I felt like he was talking to me. I emailed him right after. And his thing was, the things that give you power there really is no power behind them with money, girls, and how good are you at a sport. That's what defines
masculinity
in today's culture.
Totally. And yesterday's culture.
And now it needs to be having a purpose, being part of a cause, and meaningful relationships. And I'm like, okay.
Being selfless.
Done. Like it was so clear to me that that's what's important, and the other stuff was not. And wrapped up in the NFL, you saw it. Oh, this guy is getting a big contract. That's what I want. But when that contract's done, when your playing days are over, all of a sudden, and that's, I think, why it's such a hard transition to go away from youth sports. But I was this football player. Now I don't have any money. Girls don't think I'm attractive anymore. And whatever you're like, I have no power left. So recalibrating to those things that gave me power was so important, becoming a new father. And I love that I didn't know the bigger picture of his message.
If you want to read a book, it's called Inside Out Coaching.
Okay.
And that's kind of the blueprint for it.
I love it. That's so cool.
Inside Out Coaching.
Inside Out Coaching, Joe Ehrmann.
I was going to ask what book you recommend.
Where it came from was Jeffrey Marks wrote a book called A Season of Life, and it was about Joe Ehrmann when he was doing something about the Baltimore Colts back in the day. And then he got his life story, and he's like, wow, this is a whole other thing. And so he wrote that, and that's where it came in. I think Parade magazine at one point called Joe Ehrmann the most important coach in America.
Dude, he spoke to me. I didn't know that bigger picture. It was just, he was our Monday talk, you know?
Yeah.
And you leave the talk and you're like, holy crap. Like,
who is this guy?
This guy is,
yeah.
Was that
amazing.
for me?
Yeah.
You know, it was a trip. Like,
yeah. And you know, he lives it. He's so passionate.
Oh man. He's giant. He's a big human. Like, you could tell he had been through it and done it and lived it. And you're like, okay, whatever this guy says.
And he was a lineman.
Yes. Yes. I love it. It was awesome.
So clearly you've got so much passion and so much still to give. You're still young. What do you do next now that you've put this last chapter behind you? What do you do that still gives you that passion and purpose and drive to want to continue to do great things?
Well, to be honest with you, my passion is my wife and my family. They took a back seat at times. If you're going to be, the job that I had was time consuming, and to do it right, or what I felt to do it right the way I did it, was a lot of time. And I loved every moment of it. But now I'm hanging with my wife. My sons are becoming, moving on with their lives, and I want to be involved as much as I can with that. And so this first year, I wanted to take off and recalibrate at the end of the year and see where I'm at, and see if, what I wanted to do or not do. And right now I'm just enjoying hanging with my wife. We're traveling. I'm getting a chance to work out again consistently, which I want longevity. That's important in my own long-term health. And I'm really enjoying that part. And that's where I'm at. So
awesome.
I felt like I really gave as much as I could. I do feel, my wife talks about, you got a lot of experience and wisdom and that kind of stuff. I don't know about the wisdom part, but, so, I'm not shutting the door to opportunities, but I, at the same time, not getting younger. I am, my 60s now. And, I think back at where it hit me is I'll think back, 7 years ago. I know exactly where I was on the field and all, and all that kind of stuff, coaching. And 7 or 8 years from now, I'm going to be 70. And, you've got so many years to climb the Spanish steps. You don't want to be with a cane at the bottom of them. So we're out seeing and doing and living.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Thanks for hanging out with us. I know Ryan's given me we're almost at an hour.
No, I've got more questions, right?
I probably talked too much.
No.
Sorry.
No, I do want to know. I don't want to miss this one. So we had a note written down about the 2011, I think, was it football season? What did that mean to you, and what?
Well, that was a terrible circumstances. A great coach and a great man, Coach Patton, stepped aside that season, and some turmoil at the time, and it was really
and you stepped in,
someone to take the job, and I've been on staff for quite a while and just been a football coach for a long time. And so asked me to take the job as the interim coach, and so I did. And when that happened, there were 5 or 6 coaches that were no longer there, and important integral members of the staff, and started making some phone calls to build the staff back up, and got Pat Harlow back from Santa Margarita. John Allred was out, in other places. And so those are 2 big time guys that NFL guys as well, and great men. And said, hey, we got to meet in my backyard. Kim will cook something up, and we gotta talk. This is like day 1. And we're in camp. Yeah. So
we got to roll.
So we got to figure this out. So we met in my backyard, and then maybe an hour later, there's a knock on the door, It's Kyle Murphy. He goes, "What's up?" The entire team comes into my house.
Oh, it gives me
goes
chills.
into my backyard. "What's going on? What happened? What are we going to do?" So we explained to it. We had this great team meeting in my backyard at 9 at night. I said, "This is an us. This is a we. This is a rallying point. We have a common bond of what we're going through. And we're going to embark on a journey that we need all of you going all in, all out."
Gives me chills.
And so that's where it started. And we had a great season.
Yep.
And, ended up a really unfortunate thing, which people don't know either. We rolled into beat Mater Dei Bosco and had a great run, and going into the CIF Pac-5 championship at the time at the top level, we were ranked, I think, 5th in the state, second in the state and 5th in the country at the time, which is unprecedented. It hasn't happened since, nor before. And really good team, obviously. And the night before, we're getting ready to play Santa Margarita, and they were really good. Harry Welsh did such a good job, such a good coach. And they had a great team. My center, Connor O'Brien, was dealing with mono.
Oh,
Said
no.
he had an enlarged spleen. I'm at a restaurant. I'm at Salt Creek Grill.
Yeah.
Night before, my sister flew in from Italy, my youngest sister, for the game. My other sister came down, my brother, my parents, and 9:00 calls me and says, "Doctor won't let me play." The game's tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're all prepared, and he's like my quarterback, right? The center.
Sure. Most important position.
Exactly. So I'm like, and we're not Santa Margarita or Mater Dei as far as depth. It's more like the Cal State Fullerton days, right?
Yeah.
Good. Hopefully you can get 11 guys out there that can compete, and then you drop off after that kind of thing, right? And and we had some good backups. So, but I said, I called Pat. Sean's my right tackle. Kyle Murphy's my left. 2 NFL guys later, right? And so I said, I got to have Sean move into center tomorrow.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah. And he'd been snapping. I mean, he's athletic enough, and he knew, but he's smart.
Yeah.
And so went over everything, and he played center and brought in my backup right tackle. Solid player, but not Sean.
Sure.
And definitely impacted the game.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a hard one.
So we had 2 drives in the first half inside the 10, where we ended up kicking field goals where you're lining up behind those guys. It's a different story.
For sure. That's a great,
wow. So anyway, so great season. Community really rallied behind it. And then the following year, Coach Ortiz took it over, and he's, had a great
job.
run.
Yeah. He's done a great job. Great program. It's awesome. You've done it. I mean, you've had the impact on so many different groups, and men and women. It's awesome to know you. It's fun to hear your passion. It comes out still. And the lessons everyone can learn from and try to implement with your kids and all those kind of things. So again, congratulations for being put up on the wall.
Thanks.
Congrats on retirement. Enjoy it. Spend time with the family.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Yep. Congratulations.
Thanks.
The door's always open here. I think a follow-up would be great to have with you. I could sit here and talk to you for hours and hours and hours. I think, very grateful. And thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. It was an honor.
Another episode in the books. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, and we will be back next week. Thanks so much. That's so good, dude.